Hello, third grade, and welcome to Unit 2, Lesson 4. And today we're going to talk about life in Mexico. Now, our essential question for this week is, how does diversity influence culture? So this is very similar to last week. And go ahead and write what you think based on what you've read and learned so far in this unit, how you think diversity influences or affects culture. Once you've completed that, go down to the words to know section and find the definition for each word, and then find the definition for each word, then write other words that come to mind when you think of each word. So the word civilization, the word generation, the word tradition, and the word compare. So look up the meanings for those and write other words that you think of when you read these specific words. So words that are related to these words.
Lesson 4. Life in Mexico. Essential question. How does diversity influence culture? What do you think? The people of Mexico. Did you know that the early peoples of Mexico, the Maya and the Aztec, were two of the first civilizations, or developed communities, who lived in Mexico? The Maya built a pyramid out of rocks to track the seasons. The Aztec used a calendar stone. These calendars were used to help plan for farming and predict the weather. The Maya and the Aztec did more than just use rocks to keep track of time. The Maya built houses, temples, and pyramids in southern Mexico. Mayan people still live in southern Mexico today. The Aztec founded many cities and towns. Their capital, Tenochtitlan, was built in the middle of a beautiful lake. This is where Mexico City is located today. These civilizations lived alone until Spanish explorers came to the area that is now Mexico in the 1500s. The Spanish took control of the land and ruled for almost 300 years. As Spanish colonists moved there, they brought many things with them. Horses, donkeys, and oxen were new to Mexico. The Spanish also brought the wheel to Mexico. All of these helped with farming, especially with an important new crop, sugarcane. The Spanish also brought their language to the native people of Mexico. Today, most people in Mexico still speak Spanish. In fact, it is the largest Spanish-speaking country in the world. Quick check. List 3 ways that the Spanish influenced the culture of Mexico.
Okay, so for this section, for our quick check question, which is very similar to our question at the bottom of this page, we want to find the different ways that the Spanish influenced Mexico. So as we go through this page, we can see that the Spanish brought their language with them. They brought their food and their cuisine with them, farming strategies, the way and style that they built their homes. So these are all things that you need to underline on this page. Now, on the first page of this lesson, we want to answer this question that says, how do you use calendars? So just write a complete sentence talking about how you use a calendar. Once you've completed your essential question, your words to know, answered the question about how you use calendars, and underlined all the ways that the Spanish influenced Mexico, we're going to go on to our next page. This section is titled Life Around the Country.
Life around the country. Some people in Mexico still live in small villages. Most people live in cities and large towns. A lot of people live in Mexico City, the country's capital. More people live in this urban area than in any other Mexican city. Some people in Mexico City are immigrants. They moved from countries in Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. Because so many people live and work in this city, it's really crowded and has a lot of traffic. But it also has a lot of great places to visit, like museums and theaters. There are a lot of businesses and universities too. People live in other parts of the country too. The people who live in the Valley of Mexico spend a lot of time outdoors because of the mild weather. People who live in the rainforest get their food from plants and by hunting and fishing. They work hard to both enjoy and protect the resources of the rainforest. Fewer people live in Mexico's desert areas because it is hard to work and live there. There isn't enough water to grow crops, so farmers in desert villages and towns use pipes or ditches to bring in water from other areas. Quick check. What region of the United States do you think is most like Mexico? Why?
All right, now let's take a look at these two pages. First thing we want to do on page 88 is answer those questions at the bottom. How is life in Mexico similar to life in the Southeast United States? So go ahead and answer that question there. Now remember, the Southeast United States, a lot of those states border Mexico. So they're going to have a lot of similar influences and a lot of similar lifestyles. For number 2, what region of the United States do you think is most like Mexico and why? And you can definitely use the question above it as a clue to help you figure that out. Now for page 89, we're going to go through the family section and then we're going to draw a picture of a tradition that you share with your family.
Family. No matter where people live, family is very important in Mexico. Often many generations live together or near each other. A generation is a group of people born and living around the same time. By living near each other, many generations of a family are able to spend time together and help each other. They also share stories and traditions. A tradition is a way of doing something that has been passed along by families for many years. Some traditions include celebrating holidays and cooking special meals. How does family life in Mexico compare to your family life in Florida? Quick check. Why do many generations sometimes live near each other?
All right, so as we go through, obviously we're not comparing to life in Florida. You guys are in California. So think about how life in Mexico is similar to life in California. And then at the bottom of page 89, take a minute to draw a nice, neat picture of a tradition that you share with your family. Once you've answered all of the questions on page 88 with complete sentences, and you've drawn in your picture on page 89, we can go on and talk about the culture of Mexico.
The culture of Mexico. The people of Mexico have many celebrations too. One of the country's most important holidays is Independence Day. Every year on September 16th, Mexicans celebrate gaining their independence from Spain. As in the United States, Mexicans also celebrate Cinco de Mayo. This holiday celebrates Mexico's victory over French invaders. Throughout the country, people participate in parades to honor the day. An important part of any culture is the food. Have you ever eaten a tortilla? It is flat, thin bread made of corn or flour. Tortillas and other corn products are eaten daily in Mexico. Corn, beans, rice, and squash are foods found in many Mexican dishes. Vegetables, such as avocados, tomatoes, and potatoes, are other ingredients commonly used in Mexican cuisine. Music is also part of Mexico's culture. Some musicians play songs on violins, guitars, and other instruments. Others play a type of music called cumbia. This music has Caribbean influences. It mixes flutes, drums, and maracas. Quick check. What parts of Mexican culture do you see in the United States today?
All right, take a minute to answer that question on the lines over here at the bottom of page 90. Please make sure you're using complete sentences and neat handwriting so that I can read it. Once you've completed that, we're going to go in to the section titled The Arts and Sports.
The arts and sports. Just like the United States, Arts and sports are a large part of Mexico's culture. Many cities have colorful wall paintings called murals. Some murals were influenced by the Aztec and Mayan civilizations. Mexican ballet and theater groups perform throughout the country and around the world. Sports are important in Mexico as well. Football is the most popular sport in Mexico. We call it soccer here in the United States. Children and adults play football in backyards, at school, and in large stadiums. Baseball is another popular sport. Do you play any of these sports? Quick check. How are Mexico and the United States similar?
All right, take a minute to answer that question. How are Mexico and the United States similar? You can use text evidence from these pages to help you come up with your answer. Please make sure you're using complete sentences. Once you've finished answering the question at the bottom of page 90 and this question on 91, we're going to go ahead and answer our essential question, how does diversity influence culture? Now, once you've completed that, you can go ahead and complete your quiz. Please double check your answers to make sure that you wrote neatly and that your name and date is on your pages. If you have any questions, definitely let me know. Otherwise, I hope you have an amazing day, third grade. Take care. Bye-bye.